This conference will now be recorded.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I don't believe we have any amendments to the agenda. I just need approval for the adoption of the agenda. Any further discussions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Passes 5-0-0. Need a review of the minutes from December 2nd, regular meeting minutes.
Motion to approve the December 2nd council meeting minutes.
Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0-0. Accounts payable, Mr. Krieger.
I think you weren't here. Yeah, you have to abstain. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, it was Santa Claus. Yeah, so I'll
I
abstain.
was acting mayor.
So 4-0-1. Thank you for catching that. Bob Krieger, accounts payable.
They look very normal. There are a couple of them, 76,782 for CETA for the December, $7,252.92. And the other one that stands out a little bit is the solar credits, 76,813 for $5,978.48. I do make a motion then to approve the accounts payable in the amount of $37,099.97.
Any further questions for Bob? Do I have a second? Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0-0. Thanks, Bob. We'll open up the public comment portion. Individuals may address the city council about any items of concerns. Speakers must state their name and limit their remarks to 5 minutes. Any public comments? I will close the public comment portion. We'll jump down to 7A, unfinished business, 2022 final budget levy. Do you want to take this, Kim, or is this Brian?
Oh, okay, so you have before you the final budget. Sorry, but I just realized that I didn't put the levy sheet in.
Oh.
I just realized that, so if you can excuse me for just a minute. I will put that. Oh, it was okay.
Do we want to jump to 8A, like Kim's doing that? We'll jump to 8A for Bill can move along to his basketball game. Final pay request on the 2018 street utility improvement, East Avenue. Mr. Bill.
Thank you, Mayor. So in your packet is the final pay request. Just a little history is, this was a challenging project for the city. It was challenging, with the contractor completing the project. And for just a reminder, we had negotiations with the contractor because they did not finish the job and we had some issues. So about 2 years ago, or now 2.5 years ago, the city administrator, the engineering team, Public Works with Mike, the county and the contractor had all agreed that after all the items were complete, the contractor would provide an additional 4-year warranty on the project. It had a 2-year warranty, but he would provide a 4-year warranty. We all agreed to that, and then a couple months later, he came back and said he no longer could not get a 4-year warranty. So what the city decided to do, we talked about at the council at the time, was that, well, we would just never accept the project. We would wait 2 years. We would hold his money for 2 years instead of releasing it 2 years ago, that being the retainage on the project, which was 5%. And then at the end of 2 years, we would accept the project and then release his retainage. So that is what has happened. So we have waited the 2 years. The 2 years are up. Actually, the 2 years were up in June, but the contractor did not submit all his paperwork. So he has to get basically releases from all the subcontractors, which meant he had to pay them all because there's been drama over the last 2 years. So that has all occurred. In the meantime, then, the contractor had asked for additional money. He'd asked for us to waive the 2 years, a variety of different other requests that we've been working with Matt on, Brian and his attorney. And ultimately, at the end of the day, staff has been recommending denying all those requests. And ultimately, they have accepted the fact that we are denying all additional requests. So we're going back to the original deal, which is 2 more years of warranty and releasing his retainage only with no extra payments. So in essence, what we're asking for tonight is the city to basically approve what you set out 2 years ago. So that's a motion to accept the project, make final payment, and then that'll begin the remaining 2 years on his warranty.
Any questions for Bill?
Nope, so Bill will release the remaining retainage for him and we're good?
Then we're good, correct. Yep, and then we still have 2 more years on the warranty, but you're correct.
That's awesome. Yeah, I will make that motion.
Oh, that's a project.
Make motion.
I did.
Second? Second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed, passes 5-0. Thanks, Bill, for all your work on that project. I know it's been kind of a headache for you, but.
Yeah, and I like Mike and Brian as well. So, but no, I appreciate that. And you guys have a good night and go Cougars.
Thanks, Bill.
I,
All right, see ya.
Hey, Kim, 2022 final budget.
Right, sorry I missed that sheet. I apologize. So before you, I brought the budget and also the levy sheet for the historical levies. And we did not make any changes to the total levy amount that we were originally talking about. I did make a slight change in the budget, which we'll talk about further on, which is I increased the auditing budget, but then I just decreased the contingencies the same amount. So it was the exact same footprint basically for the budget. So I am requesting that you approve the final budget and levy so that we can get that into the county because we have to have that approved by month end.
Any questions for Kim?
So it didn't come in less, or we chose to use those.
We chose to use those, well, we had some change, yep, chose to use them within the dollars we did, and we moved things around and did what we could do.
It's so much.
I know.
I think average in the area, or with my administrators group, the average I think was about 7% this year. So there's some really low ones and some higher ones. What's that? Cannon Falls did 0. Yep, and there was somebody at, I don't know, 10 and somebody, I can't remember exactly what the range was, but all in all, it ended up being right around 7%, but we've got the road project, so it kind of skewed us.
Literally almost 2%, less than 2% if we didn't have the bond for Jefferson, which.
In Cannon Falls, for example, they actually cut a department. So
They have a lot of work to do up there. All right. I have no other
I'll
questions.
make a motion to approve the final budget.
I'll second.
Any further discussions? All in favor? Opposed? Passes 5-0. Thanks, Kim. 8B, fee schedule discussion and set public hearing. Brian, you want to start with that one?
Yeah, actually, I think I'm going to throw it over to Dylan first, since the first fees we come to on here are planning and building fees. And I included Dylan's extra sheet. He put a lot of work into this, so I'll let him kind of do an explanation.
Yeah, so just on the topic of the planning commission fees, we met over the months of October and November. And in those 2 months, I reached out to other communities nearby regionally and close in population to us just to get their building fees. And so on one of the sheets you guys have, I created a little matrix with what others do and as well as what we do, and just to compare them. So long story short, we're a lot less. If you see the red, that just means they're a lot higher than us type of thing. The yellow column is the new fee column. Our fees are just going almost across the board up by 100. and we're still below the average, but it's catching up type of thing. The only ones that jumped more than 100 were our pre and final plat, just because those are pretty far behind. We don't do escrow here in Zumbrota either, so we don't hold any escrows for any type of developments. And that's why you can see Pine Island, for example, charges 3,000 for pre and final platting. And so we're just gonna do 500. Other than that, some of our flat fees we'd like to change a lot for accounting purposes and obviously to be in a better average, just to bring those from $45.50 to $50.
Any questions for Dylan on the planning commission fee?
Question, so the proposed addition, where do those dollars go?
The new dollars go to the planning commission budget.
Planning and zoning commission, because of the increased costs in publishing as well as staff time. And, you know, for example, for an annexation or anything like that, we send out a lot of postage. And those kind of things, just the office supplies and stuff, and copies and filing.
And when we say staff time, maybe a little extra help there, or moving into some extra help at some point.
So basically, these new fees are just going to raise revenue so that planning and zoning is going to run even versus losing dollars.
Yep.
Okay.
We're getting closer to even.
Or closer.
Or closer to even, yeah.
So right now, they're basically not producing enough fees to pay for what's being done. Is that
Yeah.
correct?
Correct.
Okay.
I don't know. Todd, do you have anything you want to touch on that too? Just being a part of it?
I
Okay.
don't, I mean, you explained it well. Planning and zoning, we spent a couple meetings on that with some good input on that, so.
Next set of fees is water and sewer stuff. And Kim, can you help me out with all of those?
Sure. Let me pull it up. I'm kind of one-handed here, so I'm a little pokey. Okay, so we had the, yeah, thank you. All right, so when I was not at the last meeting because I was actually out of town, and the sewer and water rate that Miranda presented did not show the water increase in it. That actually was an increase that would increase a 4,000 gallon usage bill by 43 cents, or excuse me, 83 cents for the month. I actually put those correct rates in under the water rate, the water minimum, the infrastructure fee. So what you have before you, you have the water minimum, the sewer minimum, the water rate, conservation rate, proposed for next year, which were the, 2 years ago, we did not raise the water rate to keep the sewer rate in check. So the water rate is due for an increase. And then we also have the stormwater fee that we've added, and the streetlight fee. We talked about a $4.50 streetlight fee, and we went down to a $3.25. We've increased the impound fee for Pat.
And Pat, is that the right number? So I put it at 50. I think we're at 25 now. You and I had talked about what's more reasonable. Is that correct, or does that need to be?
Well, I was looking at just a slight increase on that.
Okay.
So I think that just our, for instance, our tow yard here, Birds, they charge 50. I was looking at somewhere around 30, to be quite honest.
All right. So
As
that'll
we get closer to reality, but
that'll be a change then on the final one that you guys will see. We'll go with a slight increase on that, unless you wish to go to 50.
They have a car now.
That's yes. And then the park and pool fees, proposing raising the permanent campsite fee by $100. The shelter fee by 25. And then each of the primitive and electric water sites by $5. We're still quite a bit below area campgrounds, but we figured once we do the rehab and the additions and everything else, then we can work on those fees a little bit more. But this is just scheduling a public meeting for now, and then we'll do the approval in January.
So I just need a motion to approve the public hearing for the next council meeting, which is January 6th. Any further discussions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Passes 5-0-0. Thanks, Brian and Dylan and Kim. 8C, opium memo. Brian.
Yes, there's a lot of stuff with this. A long story short, the state of Minnesota had a big settlement with opioid manufacturers, and there's some dollars coming as part of that settlement. Larger communities that have health departments can participate in the settlement. Smaller communities under 10,000 are asked to sign the memorandum, which is basically supporting dollars going to Goodhue County Public Health, and they'll administer those dollars. So we're just asked to sign the memorandum saying, yep, we're on board with participating in the settlement through our county health department. So I just need authorization from all of you to sign it.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Passes 5-0-0. Thanks, Brian. 8E, the 2021 Scanlon Merch Associates Audit Engagement Letter. Kim.
Yeah, I alluded to it before. The actual audit, it did increase by $1,000. They've kept their audit lines pretty tight over the years. We haven't seen much increase, but this year the Governmental Accounting Standards Board added some more standards. So they asked for an increase, which I do not feel is unreasonable. So, and I'd like to stay with them. We have a good working relationship. We seem to get our stuff done. So I'm asking for your approval to, I'm asking for your approval to go ahead and engage Scanlon Merch and Associates for our 2021 audit.
Second.
Any further discussions? All in favor? Opposed? Passes 5-0-0. Thanks, Kim. 8F, funds transfer for capital projects. Kim again.
Yeah. So we had some projects this year that we, the West Avenue sidewalks was one of them. We weren't really anticipating having that big project, and we have to take some money out of somewhere because we're in the red and it needs to be in the black before the end of the year. So we have a couple options we can take, where we can take it out of. I would recommend that we take that particular project out of the capital projects fund, which of course I'm not excited about, but we probably need to do that. And also we had some large stormwater repairs and we need to take another $2,700 out of somewhere. So I would ask that you consider either the capital projects or the municipal reserve fund to take that $2,700 out of. Hopefully going forward with the increase in stormwater fee, we'll be able to keep our stormwater fund a little bit more even keel. $6,000 a year doesn't do much for stormwater.
So do you need first approval on which, how you want it taken out?
If you just want me to take them both out of capital projects, you can just make a motion that I take that out of there and I can.
What do you recommend, Kim?
I think if it was more than 27, I would say 2,700, I would say take it out, that out of municipal reserve. But since it's only 2,700, I would say take the amounts out of capital projects restricted.
What's the total you're transferring?
Excuse me.
3,500?
Yeah, 76,200.
I'll make it. Take it out of capital project.
Yep.
I'll second it.
Any further discussions? All in favor? Opposed? Passes 5-0-0. Thanks, Kim. 8G, sergeant position hired.
You know, on the second part of your question in the memo about, do we want that money to go back into the sidewalk fund for future?
Yes. Do you want that money to go back in the side? Sorry, I'm a little out to lunch today. So we have money in the sidewalk fund. So at this time, so we could, I could pay some of that money for, I could leave that in there for future sidewalks, or I could take it out, I guess, to put it against that. Which would you prefer?
I thought you were saying repay it into the sidewalk fund.
We would be repaying the capital projects fund from it. But I know that we have some plans coming for sidewalks and we.
We all,
Thank you. So I will leave that where it is.
Thanks, Kim. 8G, sergeant position hire. Brian.
Yep, we posted for that sergeant position, and the personnel committee, Todd, Tina, and I, along with a major from Goodhue and a lieutenant from Rochester, conducted an interview on our lone applicant, Justin Walrop. Both the sergeant and the major were impressed, and Justin did a good job in the interview, so we'd like to offer him the position. He's got extensive experience in training officers here in Zumbrota. I believe that you call that FTO, right? All these acronyms. And also in his previous employment, he also is a standard field sobriety test instructor. That's another SFST, another acronym. Providing training for Zumbrota officers as well as departments all over the state. They send people down for that. I think he said he had one in from Duluth, actually. So he also serves as the area TZD, Towards Zero Deaths coordinator, and he recently completed drug recognition expert training, and he's a firearms instructor. So he's well qualified. Been here since 2016, valuable part of the police force, and we recommend starting Justin at grade 11, step 4. Starting pay would be $31.27 per month, and his official start date would be December 19th. For approval.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and ask that we approve Justin Wallard for the second position.
I'll second that. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0-0. Next, Brian. Report, Brian.
Yes. So we had a little storm roll through last night. It didn't last long, but it wasn't nearly as terrible as it could have been. I didn't know what to expect with an odd situation in December. I think they said we had our first tornadoes in the state in December. So I pulled our emergency management team together last evening at 4 o'clock. So we're just ahead of the storm, just to try and talk through duties, chain of command, things like that. What happens in worst case scenario, what happens if we just have a little bit of damage. So thanks for Public Works Director Mike Olson, Fire Chief Mike Morris, Chief Callahan, and Mayor Hamill for coming in. It was just a quick little meeting, but it was good to talk through some things. We've got some work to do to develop a really good emergency management plan. Communication plan is huge. We learned that today as well. I spoke with Josh Hanson, the Goodhue County Emergency Management Director today. He's wonderful. He actually called me 2 or 3 times today with different things going on. We had a bunch of power outages. Earlier this afternoon, we still had 216 homes without power. And we were starting to get calls saying we're getting cold, when it's going to be turned on. And we're, well, no, we don't know anymore. So I called Josh Hanson quick and spoke with him, and we put together a plan. We had 2 churches ready to go to take people in. I called the hotel to see what they had available for hotel rooms and if they would offer a discounted rate. And they were going to offer a discounted rate for people that needed a place to stay. And we also posted a notice through our communication system and pushed that out. Basically, we kept that simple, said, if you need a place to stay, call City Hall. And then we would explain further from there. Of course, in these COVID times, we had one masked facility and one masked optional facility set up and ready to go. And as it turns out, as about 5:15, I think they got power restored to everybody. So we didn't end up needing it, but it was a good exercise, for the next time. I've got the contact information. We've kind of got a template of, we can put it together pretty quickly. But it really did highlight that communication is critical in a situation like that. So our new communication system really, you got things out there quickly. It went on Facebook right away and all the different town talk and everything else. And so that was good. One thing we did discuss in our meeting, though, is the need for radios for Mike, or somebody on Mike's staff to have a radio in case we ever lost cell service. And I think Pat said he's got an extra one, but that's something we should probably look at going forward to make sure that we can maintain communications even when cell service is lost. We talked about, where are we going to set up if we need a command center? Who has a generator, who doesn't, on both sides of town. So anyway, a lot more to come on that, a lot of work to do on that, but it's important, so we're not meeting at 4:00 as the storm rolls in to figure out. Pat and Mike and the emergency crews had a good handle on everything anyway. They would have, but I think a plan is good. As far as city property damage, the Zumbrota sign south of town, it says OTA now, OTA, that's all that's left on there. The rest of it blew off and it's laying out there somewhere, twisted up. And we had a whole bunch of roof damage at the fire hall again on a different side.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Insured?
Yeah, well, yes, we've got, Mike and I stopped in and spoke to Brett Bolter at Kalis Agency right away, and League of Minnesota Cities adjuster called me early this afternoon, and he will be in here at 10 a.m. Tuesday morning. Mike, I haven't sent you the meeting notice yet, but we'll need you to run out there because we've got the legislators coming in to talk about the sanitary district at that time. But for more damage, we had a number of trees and limbs down around town, some power lines. I think Mike, Larry, and Chris were out quite a bit of the evening working on those things. And Josh Hansen has asked everyone to document losses, including extra time spent on losses, because he's putting together an estimate for the whole area, so he can submit to see if there's any state and federal dollars going to be available to help out with some of those extra costs that were incurred. So all in all, it didn't turn out too bad. I thought we were in the clear until about 2:00 when the phone started ringing off the hook with people with no power and getting cold, and so we had to scramble and figure out what we're going to do with people. And that came together pretty quickly too. Lots of good help on that. So the only other thing I had is office hours for Christmas. We're going to be closed Friday, December 24th, and also Monday, December 27th. The office will be closed. So.
And then next weekend?
And yeah, same thing for New Year's. So
That it?
Yep, that's it.
Chief?
Nothing to add.
Matt? Kim?
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Oh, forgot about that.
Mike Olson?
Just want to thank the public works staff too for their work. Put 2 hours in. And we had our water main break
Oh yeah.
yesterday on 11th and we said, I got that fixed. That's all I have.
Perfect, thanks, Mike. I got a couple things. First, I just want to thank the police department, public works, fire department for their hard work through this storm. I know some guys put a lot of extra work. I know Mike, Larry, and Chris are out, and Justin and Tyler were out working hard, and I know the fire department was out, so appreciate for the extra work. Just kind of a little heads up, Sarah got to meet Reed from Star Trib. He had contacted Brian and I here a couple weeks ago, wanted to talk to me, so I talked to him for about an hour, and then I had met him for a beer here, met Sarah, so he's looking at doing some state theater articles, the new building apartment complex, and then article about Southeast Minnesota, so hopefully we can get some stuff of that done in 2022. Great guy, he's very intrigued by the city of Zumbrota and our downtown, so it was kind of fun to talk to him. And I just want to wish all council, all city staff, and the residents and business owners Merry Christmas. That's all we got. Sarah?
I was just gonna also extend a thank you, Mike, to the Public Works Department for getting rid of the snow so quickly when we had it, before it quickly melted. But I think, that was a lot of work to get, dumped on in 8 to 10 inches and get that removed in 24 hours. Kudos to them for that, and extra work this week. Thanks, folks. Appreciate it.
Chris?
I have nothing to make. Merry Christmas to everyone.
Bob Prevey.
Just wanted to say
Thank you to everyone for the first full year I've been on council. Thank everyone. Merry Christmas.
Meeting adjourned. Unusual.